Hey, welcome back to another video. I'm Ivan Calderon, and today we're going to be going over the Super VHS plugin by Baby Audio. So, Super VHS is the second entry into the plugin world by manufacturer Baby Audio. Their first plugin was the iHeart New York compressor, which I loved and did a video on. So if you want to watch that, I'll link it above here. I actually think they just released a brand new plugin, like today, day of recording. But as far as Super VHS goes, Baby Audio sent me this plugin a while back, and although I've been using it on some of my beats, I still hadn't made a video on it, so I decided that it was finally time. I'll be linking Super VHS down below in case you want to pick up a copy for yourself, but without further ado, let's jump right in. But okay, jumping into Studio One, this here is Super VHS by Baby Audio. Now, basically what this is a multi-effects processor that aims to emulate some of the lo-fi and vintage sounds of the 80s. Now, what I'll do, like with most of my videos, is I'll first go through some of the parameters so we can get familiar with the plugin, and then we'll do a demo to see what you can do with it. Jumping into the actual plugin itself, we have 4 sliders, 3 knobs, and 1 button. On the top left, we have the mix slider, and this basically allows you to dictate how much of the effects you want blended back into your original sound. On the opposite corner, we have the output slider, and this allows you to decrease or increase, but mostly decrease, the amount of signal leaving the plugin, which can be really useful for gain matching, especially when you use something like the heat knob. The first knob down on the left is the heat knob, and this is a saturation feature, although the higher you go, the more it'll turn into a distortion effect. In the center, we have just 1 button called the magic button, and this is basically a really large chorus effect. Next to that button, we have the drift knob, and this is basically a pitch drift function with some randomization characteristics that are introduced the higher you go. On the bottom left, we have a static slider, and this introduces white noise. On the bottom center, we have the wash knob, and this is a really grainy hall reverb. And on the bottom right, we have the shape slider, which is basically more or less a sample rate reducer, bit crusher kind of thing that really helps create that lo-fi type beat. But okay, now that you're familiar with the plugin, let's go ahead and put it on some sounds and see what we can do with it. Okay, so jumping back into Studio One, I have a full beat pulled up here, drums and a sample, and I'm gonna use it on both so you can see what this thing can do. So let's go ahead and just because, let's play this whole beat all together. Now, the sample for this beat is called Vices, and you can get it for free by clicking the first link in the description and downloading my free production toolkit. It comes with this, 4 other samples, and some MIDI scales. So again, first link in the description for that. But anyway, what we're gonna do first is go ahead and insert it into that sample. So if we loop it, this is what we get. So let's go ahead and mess around with the heat knob. We can see that we start to introduce some distortion right around there. If you double click on the button, it goes back to normal, or on a function rather. So that was a plugin on a sample loop. Let's go ahead and add it to some drums so we can see what that sounds like. Okay, so let's take a listen to these drums first, and then I'll go ahead and mess around with some of these parameters. So the heat knob is gonna be really useful for these drums, as all saturation usually is. So we can already hear that that kick is thumping a little bit harder. That snare too, that snare crack. And then if we can gain match this, bring this down a little bit, make sure the before and after volume is the same. It's pretty much matched. And we could always just blend this all in. So there you have it, that is Super VHS by Baby Audio, and this one was a quick one, but again, it's a really simple plugin to use, and I do have to say, I really enjoy the simplicity of these plugins by Baby Audio. In my review of their first plugin, one of the gripes that I had at the end was that I said that I wish the buttons on these plugins would have numbers attached to them so that we can get more granular with the way that we work. Now, what they told me was that they did this on purpose. They left it out because they wanted to force the user to use their ears and not just rely on numbers. Using this plugin now for the past couple weeks, I have to say that I really have become a fan of this way of working, because no longer am I just stuck on a number, but rather I'm just focusing on the sound and the feeling, which is what music creation should be all about. Another thing that I've noticed too while using this plugin, and even now while just going through it, is that it's very similar to RC20 by XLN Audio. It's not as extensive as RC20, but it's still a really good tool to add texture to your sounds, and considering the fact that it's half the price of RC20, this might be a good alternative for you to level up your sound design. Now, Baby Audio does have a bundle that includes Super VHS and the iHeartNewer compressor, so I'll link that bundle down below along with the individual plugin for your convenience. But that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Like this video if you like to subscribe if you're not already, but I will see you on the next one.